All right, Ariel, cheers. We are back in town, back to Pints with Ayre. I'm just gonna maybe start off real quick with a quick apology that we couldn't keep up with doing a video in the field. I was telling myself I would be able to do it on my phone and post it and do all that remote, and just it's too busy trying to be a good host and talk to everyone, and my phone was almost dead all the time. It was a wild, fun time.
Yeah. Show gets crazy, and yeah, you think you want to do things or see something or talk to somebody, and as time flies and it's gone.
Yeah, it's a lot to stay on top of. But yeah, this will be our second AXPONA video. We're gonna kind of have a recap and kind of just talk about some of our favorite things that we got to experience and do while we were out there, and just kind of catch you guys up on all the fun you missed out on. Next time, hopefully you'll join us. But yeah, I stopped by one of our local favorites to pick up our liquids for us. Went to Avery again. They are really close, and they're actually on their 30th anniversary this year as well. Maybe I have mentioned that in a previous episode, but yeah, they it sounds like they're throwing a big 30th anniversary party, so we might have to crash that, Ariel. And
I've been to a couple of their parties. They're worth going to.
Yeah, we'll have to bring the system.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're rocking a Old Jubilation ale. So it seems like a kind of like a seasonal. So maybe we're at the tail end of a kind of a winter beer here, but it's an old English style old ale from them. But there's no shortage of brews to try from Avery, so I can just kind of go in there and just kind of pick at random, and I'll always find something different, it seems.
Yeah, I will say that, I think I mentioned this last time, like I think as far as breweries go, on average, their ABV is high on average. And so this at 8% is probably average for them. A lot, if you go to their tap room, tap is things typically very strong.
Yeah, I'm a firm believer that it takes more if you're a busy, active thinking mind. So we could use that stronger percentage there for sure. Yeah, Avery is very good. Any brew we choose. Well, so we had 2 rooms at AXPONA. I feel very blessed, lucky, fortunate. It was a lot of fun. We had 2 really good rooms too, which I feel really happy about. So right here we have our entryway to the Ayre Acoustics Sea Wave acoustic room, which was a really great partnership with our new friends from South Korea. And I know we kind of touched on that story already in our previous episode about how we were supposed to work with them at Rocky Mountain, and their speakers didn't show up, and we showed up with all of our equipment, and Seawave didn't get a proper US debut, really. And so they reached out to us for AXPONA and wanted to work with us again. So I feel very honored that we got to do that, because they have a really special product. I think that was a really fun room. I am not typically a horn person, and they have a real kind of unique formula with their stuff. I've come to appreciate this this formula of the unification of the cast mold aluminum, but with a real birch wood horn. Seems to really bring a great balance to the sound there, and just that quality.
Yeah, those the big speakers there. That big horn is actually the mid range, and I think the tweeter is a small horn below it
No,
correctly.
I'm gonna correct you. I'm sorry.
No?
I've geeked out enough on it. So yeah.
Okay, good.
All right. Because I was confused at first too, but I will explain
Good.
it. So the big horn is a compression driver tweeter. It's a 1-inch Hanji paper compression driver. And
Okay.
so it's a true compression horn. So you have that little cavity behind the spout, so you kind of build up that pressure. But it's Hanji paper tweeter for the big horn, and the medium-sized horn is the little horn here. That's the titanium compression driver mid-range, and then you have the Hanji paper mid bass, and then your lows are going to be actually the 11-inch and 8-inch Eaton honeycomb woofers. So it's and then it's four-way 5-driver AM45 is the speaker model there, and they make all their own crossover components. So when you look at a speaker that complicated, and as far as a crossover network would be, they control every little variable by making their own caps and resistors and everything.
Coils.
What else?
The coils, the
Oh yes, the inductor coils. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very impressive speaker. And then the AM23, and I'm glad Ariel's corrected me on this, because the entire show I kept calling it the 23, but it's the 23. It's a two-way 3-driver design. So there's a beryllium super tweeter on the top of these monitors, and then this is the titanium compression mid-range birchwood horn, and this one has a kind of a special lacquer on the horn, not quite just a paint, but a special lacquer similar to Rushi. But it was, yeah, I mean, for being a horn speaker and being in the same room with the same speakers for hours a day, for days on end, I could have kept doing it. I could have stayed in there all week and no fatigue. It was just smooth the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So we're using our MXR, KXRs, the QX5 and a CX8. So we spun plenty of CDs, and then the C-Wave guys brought their own render set up to be able to stream from Tidal.
The N30 SA network transport, that thing, some serious machinery. I mean, this was our stack that we threw together at the last minute here. There was not enough racks to go around for everyone at this show. It was a real busy show, so we made do, and we did a combination of stuff on our two different systems. So we actually, some of you avid Ayre-Heads might notice this, and I'm just going to say it now. You're probably not noticing any Myrtle blocks here. Yeah, we let our friends from Korea use their special isolation footers on that system, and then on our desktop or bookshelf system over here, we did use the Myrtle wood blocks for our VX8 and QX8 setup. So that was a fun little system. Did not get enough play because the overpowering presence of the AM45 giant loudspeakers making their debut was kind of a big priority in the room too. It just was really captivating. That sound just kind of reached out to the hallway and kind of pulled people's attention inward. And we had a lot of people just sitting there for several songs. I thought that was really neat to see. There was, good percentage of people come in and leave after a song or within a minute or two if they're trying to hit a bunch of things, if they're a one-day pass type of person. But yeah, there was a lot of people that sat there for like 3 or 4 songs and really soaked it in, I think.
Yeah, and they'll say as far as show attendance, like as soon as show started Friday morning, we were instantly slammed and full, and which can be normal. But I was really surprised this year that it very rarely let up all the way through late on Sunday. That was one of the most consistently attended, consistently, full show I've seen. I mean, oftentimes you get waves, especially early, it's full and then kind of wanes, and especially on Sunday, it's usually kind of light. But I don't remember a time where we had any significant spell where there wasn't anybody in the room. So the attendance was impressive this year. I was definitely impressed. A lot of people, a lot of customers, a lot of existing customers, a lot of prospective customers. Got to visit a lot of friends and colleagues that haven't seen in quite a while. So it was great to catch up with a lot of people. That's always kind of the best part for me, or one of the best parts for me. Is getting to talk face to face with people that I occasionally talk on the phone or email with, but to actually get to sit down and talk, it was great.
Yeah, I mean, like from these guys, I don't know how to take good pictures, but this was the clearest picture of our partners in this that I was able to take. I feel bad I forgot to take like a group photo of us, but like between making new friends with these guys and getting to reconnect, as you said, with friends I haven't seen in a while. My buddy Kevin at Inuos was always a pleasure, and got to see Ari, of course, and then we got all the MoFi people. Gosh, getting to meet all the MoFi people was a lot of fun. That was, and our Cardis friends too, which I'm gonna have to give them some love here too. I snapped a few photos of their room. Man, you got want to talk about a vibe for a room. These guys always know how to have fun.
Yeah. No, I will say that that's basically what we used to do at the Rocky Mountain shows. It's a very similar thing. We usually have a slightly more serious audio setup as well, but the primary focus was a fun, unique room that was well talked about. So
Yeah. Oh, and hanging out with Jim and aesthetics, and getting to hear his setup. I liked his trios and his stack. That was actually really cool. Getting to hear the trios, since we have the quattros, and I was really impressed with the trios compared to how much time I've been spending on these quattros. I felt like the trios held their own like really well.
Yep.
Gotta give it up to Banderstein. So you mentioned we were spinning CDs, so I might as well show off our stack. I have to show off our stack. But yeah, I think we both brought kind of some unconventional hi-fi mix of music. I brought some Les Claypool and Perfect Circle, and some Chick Corea. Our partner in Germany, Thomas Kunzler with Bauer Audio, he noted there he was surprised to see I had this red one up here is kind of hard to see, but Carl's Benevent, and many people know who he is. He's the bass player for Paco de Lucia, and yeah, he's one of my all-time favorites. So I actually have a Chick Corea album, two Chick Corea albums, and two Chick Corea albums with Carl's, and then two of his own on there. So I'm a big fan, obviously. And then Jonas Hellborg, he's another of my top. I like bass players. I want some Oingo Boingo. Let's see yours. You brought some like Tool and Nirvana and Radiohead, all good stuff. And then Sean Coleman.
Sean Coleman, yes. I guess you get to play much of it, but that's all right.
You're social butterfly there. You were too busy. Yeah, so our little bookshelf set up here with all done up with Cardis cables, while the big system was done with custom C-Wave cables. They kind of make their own in-house, and they do a lot of really cool stuff with their own cables. So we kind of had to split up cable duties there between our systems. So we had Cardis Clear and some of our old school signature Air Cardis cables in the mix in there too.
Yep. Yeah, so you want to talk about the other room we were
Uh,
in?
yeah, so yeah, take it away. This room was awesome.
Yeah, well, so it was so we're in a room with our Chicago dealer, Home Audio, and so we partnered us with some speakers that were new to me, Sonor speakers, and so we worked with Gunny Sonor there, and it it worked out fantastic. Um, we were pleased with the sound. He was thrilled with the sound. Um, and plenty of reviewers were thrilled with the sound. So we and with Ron Sullivan phono preamp there, and that room was getting fantastic sound. Some gorgeous speakers.
Yeah, I what I really dug about, like right away when I saw him, the speakers, the dimensions of the cabinet. I guess I didn't get a good enough photo here, but the back side of the cabinet is really rounded, like very elliptical shape. And
Yes,
and that and the small driver diameter really intrigued me because I mean, with the right internal volume and the right materials, the way they have their porting and everything. I mean, it just really came together to be a real fast, reactive, pistonic kind of emotion of the drivers. I mean, our zero feedback, just real true to the time of the source approach with the small reactive diaphragm drivers. It was a really awesome combination. I liked it a lot. And yeah, so I'm sorry, Gunny, I did no research on the speakers before I came to the show, but it was kind of nice to get kind of a not just a pure just new exposure to it. And yeah, I guess this photo is cut off, but they kind of slant back to kind of just slightly time align
quite a
the
bit. Yeah,
the lows, mids, and highs. And it's an aluminum. I think it's just like 5 or 6 inch driver there, and then like a 4 inch paper mid range as well. So you know, nothing too crazy exotic, but you know that aluminum driver just doesn't break up, and you can push it pretty hard for that low end. Um, and oh yes, and then the Sutherland phono stage, that was a new piece. I think the TZ Direct is what it's called, but I didn't get as much info directly from Ron on it. But I know that thing paired with that acoustic signature turntable, like that was a real serious vinyl rig setup. So it was mostly the room was mostly analog. We did do a couple songs by request, with like I think it was was it Small Green Computer or something? Maybe not. No, Ultra Rendu. It was like an Ultra Rendu.
yeah, which yeah.
Um, but yeah, we did do some streaming occasionally for some requests, but it was all, yeah, mostly vinyl spun in that room and just had a nice, airy, open, relaxed sound. And the vibe of the room just felt good for that too.
Right. Yeah, so we used a QX5 for the digital in there when it was streaming, but then we had the upcoming KX8 preamp was in there, and then a VX5 is the final power amp used in that room.
Yeah, so you know, our dealer at Home Audio, he has a pretty good amount of our stuff in stock right now. I mean, he brought, I mean that was his stuff for the most part, and we're sending that KX8 out to him here. We're sending it back out to him soon. And you know, that preamp was a definite hit, I think, in the system. I mean, it's going to be a really cool piece for us because it is going to offer some of our most unique technology at a really awesome price for what you're getting. I mean, the variable gain technology in an 8 series is going to be great. Yeah, that room was awesome. And so I got to give some honorable mentions to a couple other rooms I popped into that I thought was kind of cool. I did have to pop into the MBL room and hear me some radio Stahlers and see how those sounded. And I was pleasantly surprised to walk into some Rush YYZ was playing when I walked in there, and that sounded pretty awesome on those. I just for that kind of speaker, I wanted to get up and start dancing in front of everyone, and I didn't think they'd appreciate that, so I had to leave.
You never know. Yeah.
And yeah, we've got some friends at MBL there where we've already been on the horn with those guys this week since we've been back, and yeah, it's just nice to there's a nice mutual appreciation of technology between our companies, and long has been.
Yeah, those are great guys.
Yeah, you're good. You're getting. So this was something on my radar before the show. I just kind of saw these guys, I saw their name, and it just kind of popped out to me, and I looked into their product, and I've really taken a liking to them. So honorable mention number 2 goes Ayre loudspeakers, and these guys are from Latvia. And so I've been talking with Giannis being with Ayre, and I just before I've had a chance to even hear them, I just knew they would be really cool and sound really fun. How they build and how they design their speakers, and these had surprising low end for what they are, and that's kind of one of the big accolades that this speaker has started to get in just the last couple of trade shows here that they've been exhibited. They have a dual front and back woofer design, and that looks like a horn, and I thought it was a horn at first, but it's actually just a tweeter and a waveguide. But very, very cool speaker design that I appreciate. I know I know the bigger sizes will play some really fun music, make you want to party. But, yeah, so and our friends were so kind. Ariel and I received a gift directly from Korea here. So we got some ginseng, some extract or something, right?
Ginseng extract, 30-year aged, as they try to explain that 30 years age is the peak effectiveness. 25 is pretty good, but not as good as 30. Don't quite understand the process, and it's very difficult to read the packaging.
Yeah, it's it sounds like it's the fountain of youth or something. We asked our friends how old they were, and they were a little older than we were expecting, and we were very surprised.
Yeah.
And they said it's the ginseng. It's the ginseng. So yeah, now Ariel and I are going to have this new kind of beauty regimen with our ginseng here soon. So that was our special gift from the Seawave guys, and I'm going to throw this up there just because if you guys have any questions, you can contact Kevin. He's the business side of it. Bosan is the designer, but you can talk to Kevin Min if you have Seawave questions. And of course, you can always call us if you want to talk to us about Ayre Acoustics. But yeah, that was so much fun. I had a blast. I can't even wrap my head around all the awesome fun that it was, and it was busy, and I left the room a couple times, but it was hard. There was always so many people in there that I just felt like I needed to be around and be a host for. But that's a great sign. I mean, just it's nice to see these shows are kind of getting back at it. So support your local regional trade show. Go as often as you can. It's a lot of fun. Get to hang out with other audiophile nerds like yourself.
Right.
And yeah, I guess that's my catch up. So that's our recap on AXPONA.
Yeah, that covers a lot of it. There's a lot of things I'm forgetting.
So what's next? What's the next show?
Or so. Well, there's Munich. I'm hoping to go to Munich, just not to exhibit, but to go meet with distributors and dealers, visit with some other companies. That's the hope. It's not in the bag yet, but that is the hope.
Yeah. So like and comment and tell Ariel he needs to go to Munich, everyone. And maybe we'll have a great video remote Pints with Air with Ariel in Munich, and I'll probably be holding down the factory. So let's send Ariel to Munich. And until next time, I guess that's the end of this Pints. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Time.